Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today we're going to be talking Clash in Italy predictions for this Sunday's PLE and who I think will win every match. But before we do that, we do have some breaking news coming out of Monday Night Raw. Now, for as much as we talk about the curse that Danhausen put on the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Vision, without even Danhausen needing to curse them, have been cursed for like months at this point. And Logan Paul has continued that trend. It was announced on Monday Night Raw that Logan Paul has a torn tricep and is out indefinitely. So the Vision, once again, is dealing with injuries that continue to sideline members of the group. And boy, oh boy, at this point, I don't even know what to say. I mean, Austin Theory, my man, go get you some bubble wrap. Because if you haven't noticed, and this is something that I think a lot of fans have pointed out, is that the Vision have gotten injured in the order in which they joined the group. Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul. So, Austin Theory, you would be next, my man. So, yeah, it's crazy. The Vision continues to deal with these injury woes. Like, what the WWE originally had planned for the Vision, when we go back to Seth Rollins being the World Heavyweight Champion last year, we'll never know. But these injuries keep happening to the Vision, and it's just crazy how this just keeps happening to them. And it's like, it's just derailing the whole plan for the Vision that the WWE had. But speaking of which, it was also announced that Austin Theory will be tag team champions with Bron Breakker now, as the Freebird rule here will come into play. And basically, any member of the Vision can defend the championship, defend the tag titles, and so they're going to have Austin Theory and Bron Breakker now defend those tag titles. But let's go ahead and move on to Clash in Italy and the predictions for the show, as we start with the new match that was added this past Saturday at Saturday night's main event. Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Sol Ruca. Now, Sol Ruca won by disqualification at Saturday night's main event, and it was then made official by Adam Pearce via Nick Aldis that Becky would be defending her championship against Sol Ruca at Clash in Italy. But Sol Ruca is also dealing with an injury coming out of Saturday night's main event. And from all accounts, it does seem as if the match is still on. So, like I said in my Saturday night's main event predictions video, I want to go Sol Ruca wins here. I think regardless of whether it was a championship match last week or Clash in Italy or a non-title match, I thought Sol Ruca was going to win last week no matter what. And I'm sticking with that here because, let's be honest here, the women's world title at this point needs Becky Lynch. In the same way that the women's Intercontinental Championship needed Becky Lynch. The women's world title at this point, literally Liv Morgan is still doing nothing with no storylines. So I think putting Becky Lynch back into that might be what that world title needs at this point. And the WWE did have LA Knight announce the King and Queen of the Ring tournament will begin next Monday on Raw, live from Italy. So, could Becky Lynch be Queen of the Ring? Could she enter that tournament maybe to go for the world title? I think if she loses the Women's Intercontinental Championship, that opens the door for her to be in the tournament. So I'm going to go Sol Ruka beats Becky Lynch and is the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Next up, we have the WrestleMania rematch. Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi 2. Now, on Monday Night Raw, I liked this explanation from Brock Lesnar. They played a video package where Brock explained why he came back. And I know for a lot of fans, oh, they ruined the moment. Brock retiring on WrestleMania was perfect. But I like the explanation here. Brock said, hey, he got an ass kicking that he's never had before, and was like, hey, you know what? I'm done. If there's a guy that can come in and do that to me, I'm gonna retire. And it made a lot of sense. But then I guess he went back home, went to his farm, was on his farm, and said, "Hey, that don't work for me." So Brock Lesnar made his return last week on Raw and gave Oba Femi 4 F5s. And Oba Femi tonight on Raw told Paul Heyman he is out to kill Brock Lesnar. Now, who should win this match? Because in my heart, I think Oba Femi should win. I think, honestly, if you're going to have Oba Femi win King of the Ring, you need Oba Femi coming off a 2-0 sweep of Brock Lesnar with all that momentum going into the King of the Ring tournament. And I think that could be the best option, as this would cement Oba Femi as the clear favorite to go into the King of the Ring tournament, and obviously dethrone Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But there is that other part of me that thinks they are setting up a 3-match series where perhaps maybe Oba Femi is not going to be in a King of the Ring tournament because Brock Lesnar beats Oba Femi, and Oba Femi says he needs another match with Brock so he doesn't get involved in the King of the Ring tournament, because he wants one more match with Brock to settle things. But also, I've seen a lot of people say too, what if Brock Lesnar beats Oba Femi, Gunther beats Cody Rhodes, which we'll talk about here in a second, then we give Brock and Gunther for the WWE Championship. Oba Femi wins King of the Ring, and that third match between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar is at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. I don't know. I mean, you could go that route, but I kind of want to see Oba versus Roman. So, if Oba Femi goes after Brock in the WWE Championship, that does kind of free up the World Heavyweight Championship, the things that Roman Reigns could do at SummerSlam. So it's going to be interesting. What way do they go? And my hope here is it's a clean sweep by Oba Femi. If they want to do a third match, then Brock Lesnar wins. But do that third match at Night of Champions, because let's be honest here, because you could easily have the King of the Ring winner go after Gunther, and basically Oba Femi doesn't need the King of the Ring tournament. He can just go out there and challenge Roman Reigns after he beats Brock Lesnar, cementing himself at Night of Champions 2-1 over Brock. So I want to see Oba Femi win, but I'm going to go Brock Lesnar because I do think the WWE wants to do that 3-match series between Oba and Brock. They are specifically, if you look at this match card, this or the graphic, it specifically says Brock versus Oba 2. That tells you what you need to know, that Brock is winning. They want that third match. And hey, since I talked about Gunther here, let's move on to the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. And I did talk about this here, about which champion, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, was at more danger of losing their championship. And I did say Cody Rhodes, and I am going to stick with Cody Rhodes because I think Gunther is going to win the WWE Championship. Look, you can't just have him retire everyone because you essentially run out of careers to retire. So, what's the next step? And basically, to save myself from repeating myself from that video, you need to move him into the world title scene. And I think this was the perfect transition to do so. And especially if their plan was to keep Gunther and Roman Reigns apart. So I think here Gunther wins the WWE Championship. And at that point, could we see Brock and Gunther for the WWE Championship at Night of Champions? And then that Brock Oba 3 is for the WWE Championship after Oba wins King of the Ring? It's a possibility, but yeah, I'm going to go Gunther here. Another WrestleMania rematch as Rhea Ripley will once again defend the Women's Championship against Jade Cargill, who she beat at WrestleMania. And at Saturday night's main event, we did see Jade Cargill pin Rhea Ripley, which means Jade has all the momentum in the world right now, heading into Clash in Italy. But you know what they say, if you pin the champion on a Saturday night's main event or a SmackDown or Raw, you're probably not winning at the PLE. So I'm picking Rhea Ripley to retain the championship. I think there's a little bit more they can explore. I kind of want to see this dynamic with Rhea, Charlotte, Alexa. And I like how there's a lot of challengers coming for Rhea's championship compared to Liv Morgan, which is weird. But again, I think there's more they can do where I think Rhea could retain the championship. There's more story they can tell. If they want to do something where maybe Io Sky wins Queen of the Ring, but she chooses Rhea Ripley as her choice of champion, that could be an interesting story. So I think Rhea wins here. And I think, too, with just JC Jane, Fatal Influence floating around, I think that's going to be the next feud for Rhea Ripley. And I could see Jade Cargill going down to that U.S. title scene and challenging Tiffany Stratton for the Women's United States Championship. And last but not least, it's Tribal Combat, ladies and gentlemen. I got my Tribal Combat shirt from SummerSlam 2023 a couple years ago for the occasion here, as it will be Roman Reigns defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Jacob Fatu. And boy, oh boy, on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns laid it all down and told Jacob that he has to serve him and he will fall in line if he loses. Now, again, this is kind of what everyone talked about, even going into Backlash, was what would happen to Jacob afterwards. What would happen to Jacob afterwards? Because would he just fall in line the same way that Jay and Jimmy did? And it would be this new supergroup. This new and improved bloodline. Like, what kind of direction would they go in for Jacob Fatu? Because if he loses here, Is he just going to fall in line? Or, like, what is going to happen here, right? Because, Jacob Fatu, he becomes World Heavyweight Champion. Again, I talked about it in the other video. There's a good possibility here. You could give a short run to Jacob Fatu and have Roman get the title back in Night of Champions, so you can still do Oba and Roman at SummerSlam. But Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, Tribal Combat. Roman said he would fall in line and acknowledge Jacob as the new head of the table. There's a lot at stake here, and I'm torn because I I feel like this can go either way. Because I like the idea of them giving Jacob a short run with the championship, have Roman get the championship back in Night of Champions. Roman doesn't need a long title reign, so to speak, in order to get to SummerSlam against Oba or whoever. So it's one of those things where maybe you have Jacob win. You want to put Jacob over as the next big Samoan star in the family. I think this is how you do it. But at the same time, I don't know if the WWE would actually change both of their championships on the same show. And I'm picking Gunther to beat Cody Rhodes already. And I just don't see it happening here because Roman Reigns, I don't know. I feel like there's still more with Roman Reigns as champion before we get to Oba Femi. Obviously, you have Seth Rollins, maybe the return of CM Punk, in a WrestleMania rematch, whatever. LA Knight talked about it tonight. He's going to enter the King of the Ring tournament. So there's a lot of things that could happen here. But ultimately, here, I'm picking Roman Reigns to retain the championship thanks to the Usos because we know how tribal combat bloodline rules matches go. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jacob wins and gets a short run with the championship. So let me know in the comments below your predictions for Clash in Italy. And let me know your thoughts on Logan Paul's injury. Do you think the Vision should just disband at this point for how cursed they are with the injuries? And yeah, again, I will let you guys know later on in the week whether or not I will have a live stream for Clash in Italy on Sunday afternoon. So, as always, I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.